This is the very powerful jump materia, and as you can see, Cloud just jumps right off of the ground and disappears into the air, and after a couple of seconds, Cloud just comes crashing down, absolutely destroying the enemy's HP and murking this enemy. This is a very unique and special materia that takes up 2 ATB bars, but it will destroy your enemy. And you can find this as you arrive in the Cosmo Canyon when you talk to Chadley and look at his materia list to see if you could buy it. But this is not the only cool thing in the Cosmo Canyon, as there are a ton of things that you should do while you are over here. Let's get into it. When you first arrive in the Cosmo Canyon region, one of the most important things is immediately get access to the Chocobo. This is initiated by getting your Chocobo and doing a bunch of side quests that actually makes you have to learn the flying mechanic in the game, which I'm going to be honest was quite difficult when first trying this out. However, if you do well at the Glide the Chocobo training courses, there are items that you can get from getting good scores. If you happen to get 3,600 points on Glide the Chocobo training course number 1, you'll get a weapon for Yuffie called the Crescent Sickle, which has a move called the Shooting Star, which basically lets a shuriken fly across the battlefield, mowing down a bunch of enemies while touching it, and it can be used while you're airborne. You can see that Shooting Star flying around for a bit of time. A big example of that is the Barrier Materia earrings that you get from doing course number 3, which is done at 9,600 points. Now I sucked at this and wasn't able to get it, but essentially the earring is going to replace a materia slot. It's going to function like a max leveled out barrier materia, which allow you to cast barrier, use mana ward, and mana wall, which are great defensive spells that you can use in battle. And if you pair this up with that magnify materia, you can then cast this on the entire party for better results. While you're also at this beginning area, you can go ahead and talk to the Chocobo tack shop clerk, check if this vendor has any Chocobo gear that you may need for your adventure, as well as checking in on their tack shop to see if there's any materials you may need for transmuting items. Like, oh, I'm missing this exquisite beast one. Let me grab this. You could also talk to Chadley and find out that this region summon is going to be Bahamut Arisen, which is an insanely powerful summon in the game, and if you can take it on at full power, you can go ahead and do it now. If you can't beat Bahamut Arisen at full power, then you just have to wait till you finish the story and go clear the sanctuaries afterwards in order to defeat him and add him as a summon. I love using this summon. It's so cool. After completing the main story, you'll get access to the open area of the Cosmo Canyon region. And the major pro tip for traversing around the area is to pay attention to all the fans that you visually can see, open up your map as well and see where these fans lead you to get to certain locations. Also, I'd like to point out that these gliding ranges, it's where your Chocobo lands on a certain area, act also as fast travel points besides just the Chocobo rest stops. So make sure that you're jumping onto every platform so you can unlock mini fast travel points wherever you go, because gliding ranges are going to be very important for going back and forth to reach destinations on this map so you can gather yourself some good research intel. Make sure you're going around and doing your expedition intels, those lovely life springs in this region, because that'll leave you over to excavation intels, and there's actually more than one of them. There's 2 of them. And all these will give you access to the following. You'll be able to transmute yourself a healing carcanet, which is going to increase the effectiveness of healing items and spells and abilities during battle. You'll also will be able to get enhanced commander bracer, which is the better version of your commander bracer, as well as the enhanced spirit bound armlet. These are really good because they have, especially pay attention to the enhanced spirit bound armlet, because look at the materia links above. You can link 2 things on here, a total of 6 materia by enhancing. So please do this. By doing the second excavation intel, you'll get something called a safety bit, which grants you immunity to instant death and grants you immunity to stone and petrify. Rumors are that you could use Cloud self-destruct ability, but have this on and you won't die. Someone test this out and let me know in the comments below if that trick actually works in the game. You also will be able to transmute a draconic ring, which will basically increase the speed of your limit break if you are successfully blocking. So another really cool item you can make. You'll also will be able to get these 2 armor upgrades, so you can get an enhanced road warrior bangle as well as an enhanced snail shell bracelet. Seriously, don't ignore expedition intels that lead to excavation intels. Really important. And if you do all your expedition intels, you will get access to the classified intel that shows up on the map, which is known as the Wyvern Awoken. This one is going to be against a giant Jabberwock, which is, I mean, it feels like a Monster Hunter dragon kind of thing. But its weakness is basically fire, and you can pretty much farm this until you're maxed out in the level within that area. I always use the classified intel bosses anytime I come across them, but it's got its own boss area. Let me know if you already knew that this would be the spot for the boss, because I saw this triangle cave and I knew this was it. Something else really cool that you could do while you're in the Cosmo Canyon area is go ahead and just hit that subscribe button for me and that like button. It really helps the channel out a lot. Thank you so much. Let's move on. Now for the Phenomenon Intel, it's going to be a robot-based game where you have to basically surround a king slime. Just make sure that you're looking at what it's weak to on the map and send in robots in multiple lanes to do damage to it. It's pretty simple. You just have to protect your own barrier. But if you're curious about the strategy I use, you can find that in How to Unlock the Secret Summon Gilgamesh video that's on my channel. The Moogle Emporium, as usual, will have some important items. At this point, once you defeat all the Mooglets, which gets worse as this game keeps going on, I hate those little Mooglets, you should be at rank 6. And the important items that you should be picking up is the Telluric Scriptures Volume 4, which is going to be for Aerith, and Tale of the Red Warrior 5, which is for Red. You can also find an Empowerment Materia earring here, which is going to replace out an Empowerment Materia, pretty much, by letting it be an accessory and give you access to the spells Bravery and the spell Fate, which increases your physical attack and your magic attack. Remember, if you want to farm Moogle medals, just go ahead and find them on activation towers by breaking boxes, cache locations, and you can reset your game and save spam in front of boxes to continue to collect them. Now, besides the first quest, Bonds of Trust, that you first did when you arrived in this area, there are other quests that unlock after the main story and when you get the open area unlock of Cosmo Canyon. Absence of a Sign is one of them, and essentially this quest is you going around taking pictures of these crazy phenomenons in the area with Aerith. Now, if you don't care about Aerith's relationship with you, you can completely butcher the photos and mess up, so you don't get a star rating on your final quest line, which will result in them talking crap on your photos at the end. It's pretty funny, but you'll get the reward tarot cards as an accessory. Basically, what this does is just extend the duration of any detrimental status effects applied to foes. So if you're throwing bio on an enemy for poison, you can keep the poison on for longer. The quest from Whence Life Flows is going to continue off of the main story in a way. This quest is a little confusing because of the map they give you and tells you where to go, and it's all confusing because the map is reversed. A trick that you can do is take a picture on your cell phone or take a screenshot of your computer and just flip it around so it matches up with the in-game map. That way you know exactly where to go. I don't know why the game does that, but it does that. But if you do this, you'll get the Fortunes Untold Volume 4, which will give Cait Sith 10 SP. The next quest is Promises to Keep. This one essentially is also going to be following the story, and for completing this quest, you'll be getting a mythical amulet accessory. Essentially, what this does is just strengthen the summons called forth in battle. So if you're someone who uses summons a lot, this will be great for you to use on a character. One more bonus quest I wanted to mention that's going to take place later in Chapter 12, just keep this in mind for later. It's going to need a vibro detector that you can purchase from the Moogle Emporium. That vibro detector is going to allow you to follow around these monsters that you have to find in this quest. You'll have an indicator on your screen as you're approaching the monster depending on how close you are. Just make sure you're following that indicator. You bought this from the Moogle Emporium, and for completing this quest, you'll get the Magnify Materia, which is a very powerful materia that we've already covered. The materia Chadley has is pretty good and unique to the Cosmo region, as he has the Synergy Materia that you can buy, which allows you to gain a synergy point when someone else in your party uses the synergy ability. This is a great way to build up synergy with another character. When I was trying this in battle, it didn't really show up properly for me, so I'm not sure if it's bugged or if I did something wrong. Let me know. We also have the Poison and Petrify Materia, so instead of using a separate slot for Poison and Petrify, you can just go ahead and slap this on and save a spot on your materia, and then you can use your Poison attacks and Petrify attacks, which do a lot. Like, look what I did on this monster. I literally poisoned poisoned it, and petrified it. This next materia is really cool. It is the jump materia, and the jump materia actually needs 2 complete ATB bars to work, and what it did was it just launched me in the air, took a couple of seconds, and then Cloud just came lunging all the way down upon the enemy. It's like a dragoon attack, and I thought it was really cool. It definitely can get you out of a situation if Cloud maybe has low health and you want to get him out of the area and maybe heal him while he's up there. I don't know. Let me know what you do with this jump materia. The next one is Skill Master Materia. This one is going to fill up your ATB gauge when multiple ATB commands are performed, and the higher level it goes, the more ATB increases, specifically after using 3 types of commands. So just go ahead if you have a crazy ATB build and throw this on your character. In Cosmo Canyon, make sure to visit multiple shops. For example, the materia vendor itself has the time materia here, which allows you to use haste to speed up your party members, use slow to slow down enemies, and use stop to completely stop them in their tracks. Now, for those who had a hard time in Costa del Sol on this stupid pirate minigame, you don't have to worry about going back there to beat that because you can get that over here. And if you have already beat that, well, why not grab another one while you're at it? They also have the revival materia here, so when your party member is down, you could use raise and bring them back to life. And you can use the more powerful version, Arise, when your party members are down. Make sure to also check out shops so you can go ahead and buy yourself some QueensBlood cards. Really important if you missed any. Make sure to also always go up to the piano in the region you're in, because you can find out the music that you have to play, which I'm not going to play because I suck at it. But if you're able to get a good score on it, you can see the exact prize you get. And for doing the 2 legs nothing to it song, this will allow you to get the disempowerment materia that allows you to lower the physical attack of an enemy and the magic attack of an enemy. So if you walk into this area in the town, you're gonna actually find a materia all the way in the back. So it's the same place with the piano right over here. There's the piano. You go a little further to the outside part with all the umbrellas, and you'll see this glowing materia right over here. It's just a free one to add into your collection, and it's going to be the Chakra materia. The more HP you lose, the better the healing potential is going to be. You should already have a Chakra materia, but that's a free extra Chakra materia that you can have. When you're at the weapon vendors, make sure to go ahead and check them out, because you can find out if you missed any weapons, and if you didn't, it'll say sold out. If you did, you just have to buy the ones you missed. Also, buy these accessories. Extremely important, because when you do buy them and you go to your transmute later on, you're going to have a better version of them that do show up under the armor upgrades. And in this case, these 2 show up right over here, the snail shell bracelet and the enhanced road warrior bangle. And so make sure to go ahead and buy it to upgrade them. So if you take your Chocobo and fly over all the way to this location using the fans, and when you arrive at this wooden ship, climb up it, you'll then be able to find a chest at this cache location that gives you something known as the backbone bracelet. This bracelet is going to have 2 linked materia slots, 58 magic defense, and 27 physical defense. Make sure that you're doing all the Fiend Intel in the area, because you can then do some Chadley Combat Simulators. If you do the Flower of Destruction Combat Simulator, you'll be able to get the First Strike materia, which is an extremely powerful materia that raises your ATB bar up if you just attack first. Literally look at this footage of how fast my ATB bar raises when I strike first at max level. This will help you output some moves on the enemy pretty fast. If you do the Battle Intel Antediluvian Memories, you'll be able to get the magic up materia, and this can be stacked all the way up to 100%. This is going to be really good if you want to throw it on your mage. The next one is going to be from doing Nature's Vengeance, which is going to give you the level boost materia when you complete it. This one, of course, is given out on multiple occasions, but having more of these is great. You just have to link it next to another materia and it'll level up. In this case, I put it on my gravity materia, and woo, it's all the way up at level 3, allowing me to perform the most powerful gravity spell during my battle. Next up on Chadley's Combat Simulator is the Barrier Materia, which allow you to cast Barrier, use Mana Ward, and Mana Wall. Not only that, but if you take out the last enemy in the previous region, and you're making sure that you assess almost every single monster you see in the Cosmo Canyon, you'll then be able to take on Biological Intel, that's the smell. And this one's really easy. All you have to do is take down this Malboro and just not heal. If you do that and don't recover any HP, you will be able to get the enemy skill Rancid Breath, which is a really potent status-based attack that uses 2 ATB to unleash. It's going to let you RNG out Silence, Poison, Sleep, stop, and petrification on anything in that large area. It's a very crazy move. Look how cool it is. Great, now you did everything in the Cosmo Canyon. Click on this video over here, somewhere on my head.